This is a continuous improvement movement reserved for the few with the grit to prove it. Everybody.
Good morning. This is Maria, and I am here with Calvin, my amazing co host. And this is the Ticket to Freedom podcast, where we discuss continuous improvement as it pertains to current events. Today, we are going to talk about an article just released by IMD, and the article is called 5 Ways to Turn Workplace Mistakes into Growth Opportunities. How exciting! We this is something that you see every day. So organizations, Calvin, have the opportunity to leverage everyday mistakes to drive a Kaizen culture. What does that look like?
That's a fantastic question, and thanks for bringing this one forward. Quality control is a big part of any business, right? And that quality control, a culture of quality, first of all, needs to take place for the big things. If it's a factory, is for products being shipped out of the back door. But at the individual level, in sending emails with typos as well, right? Quality emanates every part of everybody's work. So yeah, the thing is, and let's look at it from a framework of how quality programs are typically run, right? It's the first immediate measure that someone wants to take is usually, hey, someone screwed up, that person needs to be, held accountable, right? I would say that's kind of a low culture way to deal with things, right? The next intermediate step is, well, we keep making mistakes in this area. Let's put more quality checks in place, right? That's kind of like second tier, quality control. And then first tier quality control, though, is to look at the system and figure out, what changes can we make at a system level that will prevent the possibility of a mistake from even existing. So now when it comes to driving the Kaizen culture, what you're looking at is, it's inherently reactive, right? You're letting the mistake happen first and then reacting to it. But yeah, if you got a strong operational excellence culture, strong Kaizen culture, you would look at every mistake as not just a personal, somebody screwed up kind of thing. You would look at it as, oh, there's a weakness in our system that we can improve the system and close the gap so that that type of issue could never happen in the future.
That's right. So, Calvin, there are five strategies in particular that people could use to deal with these mistakes and turn it into an opportunity for improvement. So I'm going to tell you strategies, and then we can talk about how that looks like in the workplace and how that builds culture, for example. So the first one is own up quickly and completely. How easy is that, right? For leaders, own up quickly and completely. Use the experience to improve the processes. Third, learn from near misses too. Fourth, avoid the hazards. And last, treat mistakes as part of innovation. What do you think about those tips?
Yeah, there's a lot of goodness there. The first one I think was own up quickly, right?
And completely.
And completely, right? You
Yeah.
you mentioned, that's easy to do, but yeah, you're being sarcastic, but that's the hardest part is being honest about the opportunities for improvement, right? And I think folks who grow up in operations and have a long operations background, they're more used to this because those opportunities for improvement are, nuggets of gold in disguise, right? Those are diamonds in disguise. So, yeah, a good OpEx-minded person never wastes a good mistake or never wastes a good problem, right? Take full advantage, get to the root cause, and then use that as a opportunity to improve the bigger system, which I think some of the other points talk to. I'll also dive in on another one is use near misses as improvement opportunity. That's a big one too, because most of the time when there's a near miss, I think people's natural inclination is to say, "Proof." You know, we survived, we dodged the bullet on that one, right? And then they just
Mhm.
keep it moving. But
Yeah.
those near misses are also great indicators of opportunities for improvement, right? And leaders, good leaders, good CI minded leaders will take those and say, oh yeah, let's also close those gaps so that we don't even have a near miss. A near miss is almost like a leading indicator for uh, potential issues. And um, luckily, you didn't get hit this time, but
Mm.
if you don't close the gap, you're probably going to get hit by it next time. So, yeah, those are also opportunities that you can't just afford to let get away.
Mm-hmm. So Calvin, we were talking about owning up, and focusing on near misses. Why do you think people tend to focus on the person or the mistake and not so much in the system as a whole?
You know, for any type of issue, something goes wrong. There's really two ways it could be handled, right? It's either going to be uh, take this opportunity to improve the system, the business system, so that there's, no chance of this happening in the future, right? And that's the path to true operational excellence. The other thing that can happen is the leader just blames the person because it's more convenient to do, right? Leader doesn't have to do any work, right? It's the easy thing. And that ultimately leads you to a very toxic culture where everybody's pointing the finger at each other for everything that goes wrong and nothing is getting fixed, right?
Mm-hmm.
If problems can be solved by simply pointing the finger and that's acceptable because that's what the leader is doing, then why bother make the effort to uh, get everybody to work together to drive real operational improvement, right? Why bother? Like if I can just point the finger and go home that day and be done with it, for the time being, then that's the easy route. And just like water, people tend to take the path of least resistance, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but again, the leader sets the tone. And if the leader's mindset is, all right, that happened, that's not good. There's something our system has allowed that to happen. Let's get together. Let's take a look at the system. Let's do the difficult thing. Let's actually make some type of change to the process to prevent this kind of thing from ever happening again. That mindset permeates through the rest of the organization because that's the expectation we now have when things go wrong.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking, I love how time after time in all the subjects we have been discussing, it
Mhm.
shows up that the leader sets the tone, the leader sets the example. If the leader is blaming people, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have that toxic culture where everybody's scapegoating everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's very important to take responsibility and have that mindset that as a leader, you are setting the tone for most everything that is happening in that organization. If you care about improvement, everybody else is going to be, okay, what can we improve today? What can we do
Yeah.
to make things better? If you take responsibility, everybody else is going to be taking responsibility.
Bingo.
So,
Yeah, I mean, wherever you put the spotlight is where there's going to be a performance, right?
mhm,
Think about
mhm.
it that way.
Yeah.
But we all learned, what we call lean or Toyota production system from Toyota. But I think what the part we don't always appreciate is that the Toyota production system was driven from the CEO, right? It was Mr. Toyota himself, right?
Mhm,
Who brought that mindset to the company. And um, in other companies try to emulate by sticking in a middle manager or a low level CI engineer, thinking that they're going to have a Toyota style CI culture after that. But
mhm,
if it's not coming from the top, to your point, if that mindset isn't emanating in, then it's a tough hill to climb. That's not to say you can't do anything good, but
mhm,
it is already a suboptimal situation from the start.
mhm. That's correct. So let me close out this wonderful Friday. Happy Friday, by the way.
Yeah, same to you.
And yes, and remember, focus on the system, not the person. And thank you for listening to the Ticket to Freedom podcast. And it's Friday, so we'll hope to see you again next week. Thank you.
Just in time, not a second slow. From the top flow to the shop flow, come on. Everybody, let's go.